If you can't focus for 90 minutes straight every day, you're losing thousands of dollars every month and you don't even know it. Today, I am breaking down Cal Newport's book, Deep Work, going over all of the core principles on how you can work deeply, focus better, and get better at sales. Learn how to finally get ahead of everybody and stop getting distracted. I have lived on both sides of this line, super focused, very dedicated, working very hard, being able to get into flow states, and then burnt out and not being able to work, getting very easily distracted. So I've seen both sides of it, and I've seen the benefits of what it takes to actually get into this focused state. So by the end of this video, I will teach you how to focus, learn faster, and get more done in less time than most of your competition. And the plan is we're going to cover the 4 core rules for deep work and the science behind focus, practical ways to build your own high performance work routine starting today. First of all, what is deep work and why does it even matter? Famous psychologist Carl Jung practiced this religiously, and it was something that separated him from all the other practical psychologists of his day. He would go on nature retreats and he would spend weeks at a time away at a cabin dedicated for work. And he found that this intentional time working away from everybody, only focused on the one thing that he has to do and getting deep into your focus, into meditation, into your tuition, he was able to get more done in that time than he ever did when he was back at his office or at home. This is where deep work is rooted. All of the great minds of our time, Albert Einstein, Benjamin Franklin, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, they all utilize this principle of deep work to be able to get things done. Now, deep work makes it so that you're able to quickly learn hard things and stay ahead of the curve. In today's society, it is vital to get deep work done because you're going to be having to learn things over and over and over again. Everything's progressing so fast with the internet and with AI that you have to be able to get the deep work done properly. So how does this tie into sales? You're going to be able to do deep research, call reviews, strategy sessions. I apologize. I try to do the best with my words. And you will be able to beat busy work every single time. I don't want you to be stuck in just doing busy work, responding to emails, and cold calling all the time. You need to be able to do the deep work so that you're leveraging your time in a higher prioritized way. And there are 3 ways that we can look at this scientifically. 3 different levels: neurologically, psychologically, and philosophically. We're covering these very basically. On a neurological level, when you focus deeply, you actually create stronger neural pathways and you create more myelin, which makes it so that you can think faster and produce faster and increase your focus. And so neuroplasticity is in play. So you're using your brain literally scientifically. It changes how your brain functions. Psychologically, we talk about this in performance psychology, where deliberate practice is what separates the good from the great. Deliberately practicing and getting into deep focused work, whether you're a creator, a sales rep, an athlete, whatever it is that you're trying to do, deep work is going to separate you psychologically. And philosophically, I would say that the idle mind is the devil's workshop. If you want to meet the devil, have blank space in your calendar. So this allows you to be able to stay focused and avoid those distractions that come from the devil. Now we're going to dive into the 4 rules of deep work. Rule number 1 is work deeply. Actually practice this thing. The best way to do this is to do it in 90-minute segments. And this is what we're going to talk about. Csikszentmihalyi. He's the founder of what we call flow states in performance psychology. We'll talk about that more in a second. He talks about how to get into flow states and breaking this into 90-minute sections. 90 minutes on, 90 minutes off, 90 minutes on, 90 minutes off is the most optimal way for most 9-to-5 workers to be able to get into flow states and maintain those throughout the entire day. The other way that this is worked out is through batch work. You can do batch work in 2 different ways, either bimodal or unilaterally, where you either do a session of deep work every morning, every day, you take a portion of your day, or you do a week at a time. Or 3 days, right? So you can do multiple long sessions or you can do a bunch of short sessions. The main point is that you're at least attempting to try and get stuff done. in a deep work period of time. And Cal Newport shares a story about J.K. Rowling finishing books, and they went to a hotel to change their environment when writing their final book. And in that change of environment, they were able to finally break through and get the deep work and focus done in order to finish their novel. So you can utilize a change in your environment to actually practice and do deep work. And the last thing for rule number one that is included with actually including deep work into your routine is that downtime is required. You cannot just do deep work. You can't. You have to take the time to rest and reset. And I think of the book Thinking Fast and Thinking Slow, where your brain deliberately likes to go really fast most of the time, but it also needs to slow down. Especially in society, we need to slow down, relax, and this helps your brain recover and it increases your memory, it recovers your focus and your willpower. So there's a lot of good stuff that comes from your downtime. Downtime is deliberate. Rule number two is to embrace boredom. For heaven's sakes, you can be bored. It's okay. We don't need to be on our phones for a 5-minute line in the grocery store. We don't need to always be distracted and have music going or have some kind of stimulus. Be bored sometimes. So embrace boredom. Concentration is a skill that has been lost today. People can't concentrate. We wonder why we have so many diagnoses for ADD and ADHD and all these different things. We are so distracted in today's world that neurochemically it's affecting us, psychologically it's affecting us. What we need to do is embrace boredom again. Be okay with sitting and doing nothing. And that is going to help you flex those muscles and practice some meditations. And you can eventually make this a skill and practice it and utilize it. But number one, get bored, and it's okay to be bored. Rule number three is to quit social media. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, social media is good. Social media is how I connect with people and how I do a lot of different things. But really ask yourself, how is that actually helping you? How is social media legitimately, really, actually helping you? Most of the time, it creates what we call shallow work, where you're not getting a lot of stuff done, you're responding to emails, you're doing a lot of things that make you feel productive, but it's not actually productive work. And social media is just a distraction. Now, is it good and do you have ways that you can use social media and have it be a positive? Absolutely. You can totally utilize social media in a positive, good way, and it's good for most things. But you need to assess yourself and say, is this actually helping me achieve the goals and what I want to do? Average Americans spend way more than 20 hours per week on watching TV or downloading and watching social media. It is unnecessary and you need to get rid of it. Or at the very least, if you're not going to get rid of it, limit your exposure and how much time you're spending on social media, on TV, on Netflix, whatever your distraction is. And rule number four to get into deep work is to drain the shallows. We just talked about shallows. Shallows are going to be those surface level tasks that make you feel productive, but they're not actually focus induced deep work activities. And they did a lot of studies with this where they took corporate jobs and different people, instead of working a 5-day work week, they worked a 4-day work week. And they actually ended up being more productive by applying a 4-day work week, not working 40 hours the week, still 8-hour days. So you work less, but you get more done. How much of your 8-hour shift or whatever the kind of shifts that you work, how much of it is actually deliberate work? And then what can you do to replace that shallow work and focus on that time freedom? At the end of the day, all we have is time, money, and energy. Those are the things and the assets that we can have and that we control. Money you can get by getting more sales, right? Time is finite. You can't get it back. Once it's gone, you can't get it back. And so every single millionaire that is in their 40s, 50s, 60s will give up all of their money to be in their 20s again. You would give up all your money for your health again. So take the time to actually focus on your relationships. And I can get a lot into cultural psychology and different things of time, like I've talked about in the past, but Time is a valuable asset that needs to be utilized as a way to actually live life and enjoy life and have joy and happiness and freedom. It's not meant to work. Here in corporate America, especially, we are taught work, 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 where it's really, you need to take the time to like enjoy life, go on vacation, spend time with your kids, do whatever you need to do that you enjoy, but still work. There's the balance, there's the harmony, and there's seasons as well as far as time goes. And that is what he's trying to say is utilize your time more properly by eliminating the shallow and focus on the deep work. That's rule number 4. Now I told you we'd come back to this flow states with Nihai Csikszentmihalyi, who is the father of flow states. Flow state is when humans feel happiest, and it's when they're doing challenging, meaningful work with clear goals. Again, that is when a human is doing challenging and meaningful work with a clear goal. That's when you achieve a flow state. And when people ask, is it the journey or the destination? It's always the journey. The destination is fantastic, but the journey is the process. You wouldn't watch a movie if they just went from point A to point B immediately and just got the reward. You watch a movie, you watch like The Hobbit, it's a journey. They're going on an adventure. You're going to go from point A to point B. It's going to take time, it's going to take a process. And that deliberate way of getting uncomfortable is where you actually find joy and happiness. And they've studied this that psychologically people actually measure their happiness when they're going through a hard, difficult time trying to achieve a goal than when they're lazy and doing nothing. So, deep work equals purpose, mastery, and meaning. This is how you actually live a fulfilled life. And the Latin phrase that Cal Newport shared is Homo sapiens stupendus. Humans crave purpose. And this is now making me think of Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And he philosophized the psychological treatment of finding your purpose, of purpose psychology. You need to have a purpose in life, and that's how people got through it. So, finding your purpose and then putting deep work and deep effort towards it is going to be where you actually feel the most fulfilled. And at the end of the day, that's what's important. The money in your bank account, as important as it is not as important as the joy you actually feel from what you get out of life. So, to wrap this all up, success is not about grinding for more hours. It's about working with deep, focused intensity on things that actually move the needle. So, if you're ready to master time, focus, and sales psychology at a higher level, join the MindFit Sales School community. It's completely free. I post all of these trainings. We can do a one-on-one call. I'd love to help you out, and we can talk more about this so that you can work less, win more, and finally live with purpose. So click the link in the description and let's get to work. Deep work.